Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our Saturday recording of episode 18 Lookup List, which is part 2 of Joie.
That's right.
And I'm going to work on my breathing, guys. I was telling Jenna that when I edit these, my heavy breathing into the microphone is super irritating to me. So I can only imagine it's irritating to you.
But maybe they don't know about it. Well, you
and
said
now
you
I'm
don't
alerting them to it.
Well, no, I was going to say you edit it out in the main episodes,
That's
maybe
true.
not the bonus.
The bonus, I don't edit it out at all. So I will not be editing it out of this. But you see, like it just.
Right, but I get it's harder for you because you are tend to be talking more in these episodes. Right. So, but also just maybe pause more, or maybe you need more breathing throughout your sentences.
Yeah, I just need to move the
because you kind of
away.
Maybe hold your breath when you're doing like a long talk.
Anyway, speaking of joie, we got a comment the other day from Me2624, and the title of it was, "It's not Jawa, it's Joey." And I think I can only assume they were referring to the Joie episode.
Right, but
I didn't say Jawa, but maybe and no offense to Me2624, I think there were maybe they were using voice dictate or something. There were some kind of discrepancies throughout this review. So perhaps they didn't mean to title it, "It's not Jowa, it's Joey." Maybe they meant to title it, "It's not Joie, it's
Well, I
Joey."
think maybe they did. Because now that you say that, joie, maybe phonetically to them, that's how you would spell joie. Jowa.
You're right.
Yeah.
Joie.
Yeah.
So when we first did part 1 of this, in my notes, I'll show you, I had to type it out phonetically.
Spell it phonetically for you.
And I spelled it like this. ZHWAH.
But you can
Joie.
see, now that we're talking about it, I can see how that person, that's their phonetic spelling of joie.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so they had said, that was the first thing on this lookup list, is that that comment had said, Me2624 said, "It's not Joie, it's Joey," which, look, they could be correct. I will say, before we recorded this, I watched several YouTubes that talked about this case, and everyone, all the newscasters, all the podcasters, everyone who had done this said Joie. And then I also typed into Google, how do you say Joie? And I typed in Joie, and Google, sent me back a video and said, and I played it, and it said Joie.
Sounds quite French. Did we mention it? I mean, it must be French.
I think she was born in Germany, I want to say.
Oh.
But I don't know. But I mean, like, my name is French and we're not French. Or the spelling of my name is French.
That's true, yeah.
So they could be correct. I don't know. I did it the best to my ability from what my research. So anyways, the review.
You're standing by your pronunciation.
I am standing by my pronunciation. And so the review, which I think is a good review, but it was confusing to me. I'm going to read it exactly as is so that people could just go look at it too. But so the review says, have listened to every episode and I enjoy the podcast. Not going to lie. Sometimes when something is mispronounced, it gets annoying, but we all look at things differently, which I do agree with. We all look at things differently, but generally when it comes to pronunciation, there's one correct way.
Yeah.
So,
well, tomato.
Fair enough. And then the review continues on to say, I know too many people get offended by wokeness. And maybe my comment on that is, I don't think you are woke. But as long as we keep your own political views out completely. And then in parentheses, I completely stopped listening to Morbid because they put their political views in too often. I hope this makes sense. Have a great day and stay creepy. Which I thought was cute because I think we've talked about on an episode that I like keep it creepy.
Yeah.
But I think someone else uses it, which might be morbid.
Yeah, maybe she's or that person's doing a full reference back.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's a good review. Well,
I think so too. 4 stars, which is
that's a good review.
Reasonable. Totally.
I mean, that's a B, right?
I'm always happy with a B.
Well, yeah, me too.
I think that's even maybe I'm going to call it a B+.
plus.
Yeah.
Because can you do half stars?
No, I don't think so. So A, B, C, D, F.
There's
Yeah, it's a B. I'm good with a B. And if we did pronounce it incorrectly and this person, me2624 is correct, then so be it. And thanks for correcting us. I'm still going to stand by joie for now until someone else tells me otherwise. Beyond me2624.
Me2624 wasn't enough.
No, I need like more. Because Google told me about, and YouTube told me it was joie. So I feel like I need some like additional backing up that it's Joey and not joie. And now I just like saying joie.
Yeah, I like that name.
Yeah. So
either which way, the person is the person and it's still the same story.
there you go. And so we did last week on the bonus episode, we kind of covered all of the bonus for
The lookup stuff.
The lookup stuff from part 1 and part 2 of the Joie Armstrong story. So today we are going to just do 2 little different things. We are going to do more on Murderabilia because that was something that we didn't get that deep into, and I find it fascinating.
When people collect the memorabilia related to different murder victims or murderers.
Murderers.
Murderers. Okay.
Yeah. And then we also have a true crime would you rather that we didn't get to last time that I thought we'd do. I honestly haven't even really read through it, but I thought it could be interesting. So let's start with that.
Okay.
Is there anything else we need to talk about? I don't think so.
I see there's a new yellow iPhone 14 coming out.
Oh, I've seen that too. Yeah, we have the TV on pause, and now when you pause on Peacock, it instead of just having like the paused TV show, an ad comes up, which is
that's smart.
Super smart. Super smart.
Yellow's not my favorite, but I like that color yellow.
Yeah, but do you see how the camera is less good? There's only 2.
Well, I know, but I have a 11, so I only have 2 as well. They're just positioned differently. And also, this was supposed to be a way better camera than when I upgraded 2 years ago from, what did I have, an 8 to the 11. And I don't know, are they that much better?
Well, I have a 12, and I have 3 little camera things.
And is it that much better?
Not at all. I don't even think it's that good at all.
I don't either.
All right, well, let's do a little of this would you rather. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to try it. We maybe haven't had enough Saturday cocktails for this.
Well, let's find out.
Okay. Would you rather spend a night alone in a supposedly haunted prison or spend a night alone in a hotel room where a notorious murder took place?
A hotel room where a notorious murder took place? Probably that one, because I imagine I'm not the only one in the building. Like I might be in the jail, prison.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good answer.
There's someone at least downstairs at the front desk, or, I'm thinking like Hotel Congress. I'm sure someone was murdered there, but it's supposed to be like a haunted.
Yeah, somebody was.
Yeah. So that one.
I like that. I agree with that. I take that. I would take the same thing.
Also, when are these going to be our only options?
I don't know. Maybe never. I'm doubting there's a haunted prison we'd be able to stay in. There's probably a haunted hotel room or a hotel room where a notorious murder took place that we could stay in. Which
Probably
would be cool.
In Congress.
Mm-hmm.
I also think aren't most old closed down prisons seem like they'd be haunted.
Sure, because generally people die there one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather interview a notorious serial killer or a renowned detective who solved multiple high-profile cases?
I know my answer. What's yours?
Wow, I don't know. I want to say a notorious serial killer because I feel like that's a very once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'd be just more curious. If I'm going to interview, if it has nothing to do with the podcast, I'm just interviewing them for just like my own interest.
You had to pick one. You're just an everyday.
I would say notorious serial killer because I'd be so we see so much. It's so commonplace, documentaries, TV shows, everything, podcasts about serial killers, to actually speak to one and have an opportunity one-on-one to like just see how they are as a human. You've killed a bunch of people. What are you like in just a regular conversation? I think would be fascinating and terrifying all at the same time. How about you?
That's my pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Immediate.
Okay.
Part of me wants to say as long as I felt safe, but that's not part of the deal. It's like you take your chances I mean,
Right.
I guess a detective is less likely to kill you. But wait,
Probably.
now is you said convicted murderer, so they're in jail, prison.
Notorious serial killer.
I'm guessing they're in prison.
Probably.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it. That one for sure.
Okay.
I'd also, we don't have to go here, but my next question would be, and what is the number one question you'd want to ask that notorious murderer?
When and how did you know that you wanted to kill people? I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. Like, without thinking about it, that's the first thing that came to mind. Like, when and how. More how. Like, how did you realize that, like, that was something that was inside of you and that you derived some type of satisfaction or pleasure or something from? Because I'd imagine most do.
That came to my mind of like, oh, maybe some of them don't, though. And maybe, I don't know. I think about like, well, no, Dexter's a bad example, but like maybe some people have that drive, that innate urge to kill, and they follow that urge, and then they feel terrible remorse and regret. So maybe that'd be hard. I don't know if I'm sure there are, but maybe that's a thing, you know?
That's true.
We can pause.
Yeah. Mark just walked in from his long day of woodworking. No, we can keep going.
Okay.
Nobody's barking, so. Would you rather investigate a crime scene alone in the middle of the night or be locked in a room with a suspect you're trying to get a confession from?
The first. Wait, say that again. Investigate a
crime scene alone in the middle of the night or be locked in a room with a suspect you're trying to get a confession from. I mean, if you're
of course, I need more details, but right. I don't get that. So, because I want to say, like, where am I? Where's the...
If you're locked in a room trying to get a confession, you have to imagine you're at a police station, at a jail.
So that'd be safer in theory.
But a crime scene, the person, the suspect, is probably not coming back to the scene of the crime.
Right. It's just creepier because no one else is around. But also, is it in the middle of the woods? Is it in an insane asylum? Is it in an old home?
You do need more details for this game, don't you?
But I still pick... Well, I need more details in life, always. But I pick number one.
Okay. Puppy's got... Okay. She just hit the little doorstop to go out. He's coming.
As
he's
she
coming.
gets bigger, you should teach her the doggy door.
Would you rather investigate a murder case where the killer is unknown or a case where the killer is someone you personally know?
I don't understand. I mean, I do, but like, okay, if the killer is unknown, like I don't know who the heck it is, or I know who it is, but they're just not in my personal life.
Ooh, I read it as it's unknown. We don't know who it is. You're looking for a killer that you have no suspects, nobody.
Because that would be more challenging versus someone, if I know they're in my life, I know who it is, or that's the only thing I know. I don't know who it is. I just know there's someone I know.
I think you know who, yeah. This game is too abstract for you.
Well, I'm probably making it a little abstract. I think I don't want someone in my life to be a murderer, so I picked number one.
There you go. I agree with that. Would you rather be the detective trying to catch a serial killer or be the killer trying to evade capture?
The detective.
Yeah.
I don't want to be running in my life.
Would you rather solve a crime by analyzing evidence or by using your intuition and instincts?
Well, if both result in the
catching
of the person, then, well, the thing is, intuition and instinct could get me there, but if I want to prove it and have them proven guilty in a court of law, I'd also have to have some evidence. But personally, what would feel the best, or I don't know. My first thought is intuition.
Yeah.
Like I knew it. I don't know why, but I knew it.
Okay. So there's a show, a cop show, shocker, that I watch called The Rookie. And I absolutely love it. And this is a fun fact that, so the main guy in The Rookie, his name is Nathan Fillion, his real name.
PH?
No, F-I. And he was the main guy in a show called Castle. I never watched it. I've seen him. He was the dead. Did you watch Santa Clarita Diet? with Drew
little
Barrymore. He was like the dead person whose head was just like living in their basement. I don't know.
Picture him, but yeah.
You've seen him before. Anyways, he's a star in it, and we were going to do a scripted podcast with him a while back, and so I had a Zoom with him, and he has this like whole amazing, beautiful studio in his home that he did the Zoom from, and so I've watched him on The Rookie for, I don't know, they're on season 5, so for years, and he has this kind of like cadence to how he talks and just his personality on the show, and in real life it's almost the same.
Oh,
it was like very like likable and kind of dry humor and smart, and like he seems like his character on the show is a great guy, and in real life, you know, for a fucking 45-minute Zoom, he seemed exactly the same, like
so
the
now,
same humor, the same everything.
Does that make you think he's like, my first thought was, well, he sounds like a lovely individual, and also maybe not such a great actor. He's just being himself. I'm sure he is a good actor.
I could totally see that. I haven't seen him. I don't know. I think some actors probably bring more of their own personal personality to things. Anyways, that was off topic, but
where are we going with this?
That's right. So in the new season of The Rookie, his new partner, she's a rookie. She's a new cop, and she is very in touch with like her intuition and energies and all those things, and she like goes to his house and she's like, oh, this couch is, you know, she's like all that kind of woo-woo-y stuff, but for a lot of the crimes that they solve and people they stop or see or this or that, she's like, I know there's a body in that trunk. I'm very much like dumbing this down, and he's like, well, we can't pull people over because you get a feeling about a car. And she's like, but I have I just know. And so she like pulled this person over, and there was
turns
blood.
out to be correct.
Right. And so like all of these things that she solves based on her kind of like gut.
Or that's what sparks the then to find like the real evidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always think like that would be so fulfilling to be like, okay, you can't really do this. Like that's not how actual police work works, but she was right.
Well, and maybe you can. It just isn't going to follow. You can't show up at court and be like, my intuition tells me. Her intuition led her to the hard facts or whatever, which makes me, and I don't know if it's this, and I only watched a handful of episodes because I like a plane crash or plane type thing, Manifest.
Yeah, I watched the first few episodes of that.
I could be totally wrong in mixing shows, but I feel like a couple episodes in or a few episodes in, there's something like that where someone not a police like person but has a feeling and like like something about like dogs.
You're right.
These dogs were like stored here, and it's not a good something. Yeah.
Yep. No, you're totally right. I watched the first few episodes of it was a couple of years ago, I think, at this point. But you're right. So I think my answer would be the same as yours. And the last would you rather? Well, I just really jumped into that. Would you rather work on a true crime podcast or be a character in a true crime novel? I'm not sure I understand that question. Like have somebody write a character after you, or actually be, you know what I mean? Like,
also, let's say it's just a fictional character, me in a true crime book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if I'm talking about ease, that one, because I don't have to do anything.
That's true.
If we're talking about payment, which I don't really get paid now. We don't get paid now yet. But
hopefully.
Also, I probably wouldn't get paid in being a character in a novel. So either which one, probably novel.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, novel. I don't know. Those are too different for me.
Yeah, very different. Well, because there's really not anywhere you can go if you're a character in a novel.
I have to do nothing.
Yeah,
unless I have to be like interviewed for my personality
or
something,
tour or something.
Yeah,
but on a podcast, you know, we hope to eventually like one day do some like live podcast episode recordings, like with an audience, and you know, a podcast you could take places.
Yeah, I went the other way, and I'm all, well, in a book, I don't have to do anything. Again, if I'm getting paid nothing for either, well, I don't know. They're too different. I can't answer. Neither. Both.
Okay. Great. Agreed. That wraps up our Would You Rather crime edition. Wasn't that good? It was okay. We're gonna try that again. I'm gonna try and come up with better ones.
I was just gonna say, I don't know what just happened there. Did you come up with those?
Man, ChatGPT.
Oh,
I came up with some, and they kind of elaborated. I feel like there's better ones out there.
Yeah.
Like the prison haunted hotel room. I feel like down that avenue could be better.
Yeah. I guess this isn't a would you rather. Is that what it is? Would you rather? Would you rather, if you were a serial killer, would you rather murder someone via stabbing or strangulation?
Stabbing.
Why?
Seems less personal. Strangulation, you're like using your hands.
Oh, okay. Or I guess, yeah. But could it also be like a rope or something? Or is that not strangulation?
No, that is. You can strangle.
Asphyxiation?
Well, that's what happens when you're strangled. Your air gets cut off. But it's ligature strangulation.
Yeah.
You're strangled with something.
Okay, that or a gun.
A gun.
Or no, I mean that or a knife. An apparatus to strangle someone or asphyxiate.
I still think a knife.
Yeah, not me.
No?
I don't know. That feels weird. Well, they all feel weird.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. But I really have. I don't like watching. So in movies and TV, I really can't watch. I have to turn away when people get beat up really badly, like punched and kicked, and that. Like I really dislike it. And stabbing, I mean, don't love it, but I can handle that. Watching that more easily than watching someone get strangled or like hangings where you're like running out of air.
Maybe that's because you have asthma.
Maybe. It really bothers me.
Watching, to me, and I have no idea, I've never stabbed or strangled someone or ligatured them, but it's one thing to watch a stabbing, but also I was just thinking like the knife in the chest or wherever. It's like you like connect. It's like a okay. Anyways. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I could come up with a lot, but
that's a good. Okay, good. Come up with them. Let's do them next time.
Yeah.
So then the only other thing, because we really covered the lookup list, is I just thought we'd go a little bit deeper into, because in the intro of episode 18, part 2 of Joie, we talked about Murderabilia, and I didn't have any examples or anything. I didn't get that deep into it. And so since then, I found a little bit more on Murderabilia that I thought I would share.
Well, and remind listeners, I'm sure you were going to, but remind them what Murderabilia is, because my mind still just goes to Amelia Bedelia. I know what it is now, but...
Yes, the controversial Murderabilia industry is described as a small online market where collectors buy and sell items related to serial killers. So these items can range from letters to artwork to personal belongings to crime scene photographs, legal documents, or even this
murder weapons?
Yes, murder weapons, or even locks of hair or fingernail clippings and things like that.
From either the victims and or the...
I'm assuming not the victims, from the murderers. Yeah.
I mean, both are cringy to me, but...
Cringy.
Yeah.
So in the 70s, apparently something called the Son of Sam laws were enacted to prevent convicted people, like convicted killers, from profiting off of the stories of their crimes. However, in 1991, the Supreme Court struck down the Son of Sam laws, saying they restricted First Amendment free speech. And then since 1991, it's kind of gone back and forth, and it's more on a state-by-state basis. A handful of states have redrafted the laws to the profit laws to exclude issues of free speech. Other states have allowed people to convicted killers to profit off of their stories. So it depends. I do not have a list of those states.
Well, I just wonder, like, if I murder someone and someone sells my shoes, like, and I'm in a state where I could profit, like, how am I going to profit off that, right? Ooh, like, I do, you know what I mean? You. Okay, yeah, like, do I have to, like, trademark myself, or I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that example in a second, but so it's been very controversial. There's only about 7 websites. Well, where I got this information, it's from a few years ago, so there might be more by now. But at the time, there was about 7 websites internationally who dealt in murderabilia, and it's very controversial because dealers in this market there's no real regulation on it. So dealers are disparaging each other and saying, oh, they have fake things, I have real things. And then also the families of murder victims and victim advocates are criticizing this industry because you're kind of glorifying these killers, which is understandable. And this Murderabilia really came into like conversation and into the press in 2018 when the courts were preparing to decide who has the rights to Charles Manson's body and his estate. And there were 4 people who came forward at the time after he died, including a Murderabilia dealer. So on March 13th, the Kern County Coroner's Office, they had been keeping Charles Manson's body after he died at 83 years old at an undisclosed location on ice since November. So
4 months later?
Yeah, he was kept on ice, not buried. Nothing had been done with him because they didn't know who had the rights to
say what should be done with it.
Right. And
so none of his family.
Well, 4 people came forward after he died. His grandson, Jason Freeman, claimed to be, this man named Jason Freeman claimed to be his grandson. He came forward saying, like, I should be in charge of his estate and his body. Somebody named Michael Brunner, who said that he was his son, the cult leader's son. Remember, I think like a lot of his, I don't think there's we're not going to get like deep into Charles Manson, but I believe because he had multiple kids, multiple women, and was a cult leader, like there wasn't necessarily a clear records of who was his children, who wasn't.
Sure. Of course, if they wanted to get into it, I'm sure they could do the
genealogy,
or the DNA testing.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
paternity
someone who's claiming
whatever.
to be his grandson, someone who's claiming to be his son, someone named Michael Channels, who was a friend of his and a Murderabilia collector.
That's interesting. He was both.
Both.
He was friends with Charles Manson. Maybe that's what got him into Murderabilia.
And he claimed that he has the only valid will of Charles Manson. And then a 4th person, Matthew Lentz, who said that he was also Manson's son and has a will that addresses Manson's estate. But he said, if you're not going to grant it to me, then you should give it to Michael Brunner, his son or supposed son. So on March 13th, a court decided that Charles Manson's body would go to Jason Freeman, who claimed to be his grandson. And that's just super interesting to me. So that's really where the murder, because locks of his hair, once that body goes to his grandson, if it had gone to the Murderabilia person could have sold off, his
he would have been snipping his hair and his eyelashes and stuff.
So it went to his grandson.
And then if there's no quote unquote instructions, I guess then the grandson just decides whatever they want to do, whether it's cremation, burial, I don't know, donate to science.
Right. Well, and his estate. So anything that belonged to him. And that would be a good follow-up. I didn't look at what was
happened.
Done. Yeah. What happened. But I did look at another Murderabilia collector and seller, Eric Holler, started writing letters to Richard Ramirez. I think he was the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
When Eric Holler was 25 years old, he started writing to Richard Ramirez in prison. And Ramirez suggested to Eric Holler, you could be my art dealer. Like you could sell things that I draw in prison and whatnot. So now I think it was a couple of years ago as well, Eric Holler is now 48. So we're looking at 25 years later. He remembers getting the first packet of about 10 pieces of Richard Ramirez's art in 1993. And he put them up on eBay and they sold incredibly fast.
For incredibly amounts of money?
Eric Holler says he doesn't remember how much he made from the first sales, but it was enough to encourage him to keep going with Ramirez and then to reach out to other convicted criminals to see if they wanted him to sell their artwork.
What kind of art? Just anything.
Any drawings or anything.
I wonder what Ramirez, but I wonder if Ramirez had like a typical kind of art, or was it something related to victims? That's all. See if we could do a lookup list.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So Eric Holler, a quote from him said, I was a young kid and it was an easy way to make money. Fast forward 25 years later, and this is basically what I've turned my life into. It's my career. It's what I do for a living. He contacts convicted killers and gets them to send him drawings from prison, and he sells them on eBay and makes a shitload of money and sends them some money, I'm assuming, and keeps some for himself.
My initial response was, God, I want that to be my job. And also, I guess that can be, not that I'm afraid to be controversial, some might say, but it could be seen as like promoting something. But also, if the art's just art, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's super
also,
interesting.
Interesting if it sometimes, or most times, I think works of art give the viewers insight into
the artist's brain.
What's going on up here.
Yeah.
That's interesting, huh?
So I have a list to finish this lookup list episode. I have a list of the 10 most valuable Murderabilia items and the 10 most bizarre. So I'm not going to ask you to come up with 10 guesses, but if you...
I have to imagine fingernails is on bizarre.
Probably. We're going to get there.
Okay.
But the most valuable, I'm just going to run through the list.
Okay.
Because I feel like these to me I wouldn't have gotten. So I don't know if you will. Okay, so 10 most valuable Murderabilia items.
A gold watch.
The pistol that Jack Ruby used to shoot Lee Harvey Oswald was originally bought for $62. But in March 2008, it was sold at an auction for more than $2 million. I
mean, that's insane, and also it makes sense. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right. And that's why these all kind of go on there. Bonnie and Clyde kidnapped, murdered, and robbed their way across America in the 1930s until they were famously gunned down during an ambush in Louisiana. In 2012, a 1911 Army Colt 45 pistol that was removed from one of their bodies was auctioned for $250,000.
Wow.
Lee Harvey Oswald left his wedding band at home on the 22nd of November, 1963, the day that he would later be arrested for the assassination of JFK. In 2013, this ring was sold for $118,000 at an auction in Texas.
You know, I'm just staying quiet, but I have to put it out there.
You've got questions.
I have why did he take his ring off? And also, you know, I'm just saying that I have so many questions, but I'm staying quiet. Go on.
Okay, so this one's interesting because John Dillinger, you mentioned Hotel Congress earlier.
Yeah.
And John Dillinger either stayed there or something, right? So one of the most valuable Murderabilia items. So John Dillinger was declared the U.S.'s first public enemy #1 during the Great Depression and was eventually shot and killed by the FBI in Chicago in 1934. A pistol which once belonged to him was sold at auction for $95,000, which makes sense. That even seems low to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I have not questions, but thoughts of like, sure, the person and their notoriety, and also guns can be, and depending on how long, very expensive or very valuable. Well, those are the same things. If they are vintage, how long has it been? So, like, yes, but okay.
This one is also shocking to me. Who would you say is arguably the most famous gangster in America?
Al Capone.
Yes. So Al Capone was known worldwide as a crime boss in the Prohibition era. And at auction in 2017, a diamond pocket watch belonging to Capone was sold for $84,000, which to me
should be more money.
Should be way more money.
Maybe it wasn't that great diamonds. And I get it was his, but maybe it was real shit. Small diamonds, nothing.
Maybe, but like if I had money, if I was someone who like had disposable income and could participate in collecting things, that is one person that I would spend a lot of money to own something of Al Capone's. I think that would be, I mean, that's fascinating to me.
I'll just get $84,000 or whatever it was.
Right.
85.
I'm going to skip a few of these, but so let's go to this one. Ted Kaczynski, a domestic terrorist in the U.S., convicted for killing 3 people and injuring many more with letter bombs in the late 20th century. A collection of his personal items were sold, including a typewriter, which went for $11,000, his handwritten manifesto, which went for $17,500, and his hoodie and sunglasses, which sold for over $20,000.
That's Ted Kaczynski right there, the hoodie and sunglasses.
Unabomber.
Thank you. Also, that's interesting, the typewriter. I listened to some podcast a while back about someone who was forging, not murderers or serial killers, but like famous authors like Ernest Hemingway and shit, like buying old ass typewriters and typing up letters in the same font and then to sell them as authentic Hemingway letters.
Cool.
And made a shit ton of money until she got caught.
There's a movie that Melissa McCarthy is in.
That's it.
That's
the podcast. And
great movie.
What's it called? Do you know? Because I
can't
forgot
remember.
about it till right now. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I want to watch it. Yeah.
Really, really good. Cool. She's
That's
quite,
exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, quite good in it. So this one is also surprising to me. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Who is it?
I don't know.
You do.
Yeah, Milwaukee
Cannibal. 8 people killed people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Whole show.
Thank you. That's where my head was stuck. I'm on Milwaukee. I know
Wisconsin.
where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I do. He wears
the glasses,
like kind of like my sunglasses that I like. Maybe that's why I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't think. Not Ted Bundy.
Jeffrey
Dahmer.
Yeah. So he was responsible for the murder and dismemberment of 17 boys until his arrest on the 22nd of July in 1991. A paycheck dated the 26th of April 1991 from Ambrosia Chocolate Factory was signed by Dahmer and is currently listed at $15,000 on a Murderabilia site.
He went and bought specialty chocolates.
No, he worked at the chocolate factory.
Oh, that's right. I saw the film or the
Yeah.
docuseries.
Yeah.
Also, I thought you were going to say glasses / tinted. They look kind of tinted.
If those exist, I'm sure they're going for a ton of money.
Yeah.
Little yellow tinted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 10 of the most bizarre items, and I didn't do all 10 of the most valuable because
we get it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do all 10 of these, but I'm going to do
the best.
The best. So let's see. The leader of the Manson family is one of the most infamous criminals of the 20th century and was imprisoned in the 1970s. Locks of his hair have been sold for as much as $800 on the internet, and half-eaten snacks during prison visits have been sold for similar amounts.
Like someone went to visit him, they got him something out of the commissary or whatever, and he ate half and then left it and they took it.
Yep. And one Murderabilia collector owns a pair of his used dentures. Yuck.
Yeah. Also, gross. And also once they're cleaned or whatever, fine. I guess I'm not a Murderabilia person, so it doesn't interest me. He had nice hair though.
He did.
Or it seemed nice.
Ted Bundy was convicted for the murder of 30 women in the 1970s and was sentenced to death. Before his execution, he spent 12 years in prison where he wrote a number of Christmas cards. These Christmas cards are available today for between $3,000 and $5,000 per card. The most expensive card was postmarked just over 1 month before his execution.
So was it just like a generic kind of Christmassy card that he wrote little notes in, or did he?
So.
Because see, to me, like something if he had like drawn a little card, that's kind of interesting.
Totally.
But again, I just brought up Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who this murderer is. But
What's
this is
the name?
Gross. So arrested for 2 murders and confessing to many more, Hayden Clark is currently serving 2 30-year sentences. While it isn't available to the public, Clark sent one Murderabilia collector a Q-tip with his earwax on it. Ugh.
That is gross.
That's disgusting. I just can't
Also,
understand
maybe
that.
no one's buying that. Also, because this is going to sound weird, but he constitutes a serial killer, right? Because he's done more than one person in a period of time, right?
Yes,
Isn't that?
yeah.
Yep. So the serial killer, but he's like hasn't killed that many people.
Right. It's really, that reminds me of something. There's a woman that I follow on Instagram. I can't remember what her name is, but she started on OnlyFans and has now makes, 6 figures a month selling earwax, toenail clippings,
Ew.
Used Kleenexes.
She must be highly attractive. I'm not saying her earwax or nose juice is good at all. I'm just saying, like, what?
I'll be honest. I mean, she seems like I feel like I'd be friends with her. Seems like a lovely woman.
She's
and
not like
attractive to everyone is different, but no, I think objectively, no, I think that there are probably women that could sell their earwax for way, way, way more than her.
If we're going off attractiveness, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. That is also, what do you do when you like meet a new person, or like maybe she dates
What do you
someone
do
new
for a living?
and they say like, what do you do?
I want to say she's married, to be honest.
But let's just pretend she's not. I guess she'd probably just say, I'm an internet, I don't know what maybe she just
content
is honest.
creator. I'm a content creator.
Maybe she says, I sell my fucking earwax and it's weird and I make a good amount of money.
Yeah, she makes a ton of money.
That's
Unbelievable
cool.
to me.
I mean, weird and cool.
Ugh. So Eileen Warnos, I never know how to say this name.
Oh.
She's in the movie that Charlize Theron played her.
Well, right, Charlize. She's a real individual.
Yes, and Charlize Theron played her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she killed 7 men when she was working as a prostitute between 1989 and 1990. And a robe that she wore on death row is currently available on a Murderabilia site for almost $9,000.
Meaning she wore that robe when she was lethally injected?
I don't know if it was when it
or
actually
just
happened, or just
on death row, in the days or weeks or months leading up
That's
to.
what it sounds like.
Still, that's interesting.
$9,000.
Now I have a question. I'm sure there is. You can't wear whatever you want when you're being
Executed. No, I don't think
you have to wear the
Yeah,
certain
I think
thing.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. After murdering 10 people between 1974 and 1991, Dennis Rader, who is known as the BTK killer, which stands for bound, tied, and killed, I think is what BTK stands for. He was eventually arrested in 2005. I'd love to do an episode on him because it's fascinating. He stopped killing in 1991 because he decided to be a family man, and he wasn't caught until 2005.
14 years later.
Yeah, and I think I think we talked about this on a lookup list, either you and me or me and Mark. I want to say that he like started writing letters to the FBI and basically got himself caught.
He thought he got overconfident, perhaps.
Yeah.
He thought he was in the clear. Also, I would think I was in the clear. And then, whoops, I guess you should never think you're in the clear if you've done heinous murders.
Right. So an envelope that was licked by him, and on that envelope, he also drew a picture of Factor X, which was the creature that he said made him kill. He was a little bit like off.
Yeah.
That envelope sold for $3,000 just because it was licked by BTK.
Or maybe it was the drawing.
Maybe that's true.
Ew.
Yeah, those are some of the weirdest. This is another one. Sagawa killed and cannibalized a woman while living in Paris in 1981. He was found legally insane and unfit to stand trial, so he only served 2 years in pre-trial detention, and a pair of his used chopsticks are now available for $2,000.
And obviously
Not
after
a serial
that
killer, though, just one person.
Yeah, but after that 2 years, I'm sure he went to a mental health asylum.
Yeah.
I had an idea for a bonus episode that I'm just going to say here so I don't forget. Doing a quick one or a long one on people's last meals before they are murdered.
Whoa,
before
I
they're
love
lethally
that.
injected or whatever. It could be further back where they used to hang people or whatever else they used to do.
I'm totally adding that to our things to remember.
Because I believe you really do get a last meal, and it can be near anything. I could be wrong, and so then we'll just scrap it. But that's kind of interesting to me. Like, what was, I don't know, a lot of the serial killers we've done or murderers maybe weren't put on death row, but just even ones we haven't talked about. Last meals.
I like that. Last meals. I just wrote that down.
Cool.
Very interesting. So that's it for the Murderabilia, and I think that's probably it for our bonus episode, to be honest. I think that's it.
Wonderful. Now I'm thinking about my last meal.
What would your last meal be?
I don't know. I have to think about it. I've been asked that, obviously, or not obviously, but I think a lot of people have talked about that in their lives, and I've had lots of ideas. And I wonder, is there like a limit on how much it can be? Because I want a lot of things. I like variety. I want mac and cheese. I want a McDonald's hamburger.
Mac and cheese is my first
sushi.
one.
I want
Tacos.
Even like, I want a million things. So I don't know.
I want like ground chicken or beef tacos. Like, what do you call them?
Ground chicken. Yum.
What do you call them?
Like carne asada?
No, like when the Taco Bell taco, like
like crunchies.
Yeah, but you say they're like
like nug tacos.
Yeah. So I'd want those, and I'd want mac and cheese, and I'd want like chocolate cake or something, like with extra frosting.
Depends. Also, like you have to probably order it a week plus. I have no idea, but you can't order it on the day. So what if I wake up feeling like I want a chef salad and a
milkshake?
Yeah. Well, that's Well, I want to look into that.
All right. We're gonna have a bonus episode coming up on last meals, and until then, we will leave you with this one and tell you that we have one of my favorite episodes coming out on Tuesday. It's one of my favorite. I don't know why we talk about a bunch in the episode, so I won't get into it, but one of my favorite stories that we've covered thus far. And we're going to go and hang out with the no-named puppy, and everyone who vote. I posted on the Instagram, like, she needs a name, and a list of names, and a lot of people responded. So thank you for everyone who responded.
Clearly you didn't like any of them.
I like all of them, but we still don't have one. We just calling her Little Business is what we're calling her. Come on, Little Business. She is sleeping very sweetly right now. So anyways, that is where we will leave you and say have a lovely
Saturday.
This will probably come out tomorrow. Although
well, then have a lovely week.
Yeah, it might come out Monday morning.
Have a lovely week.
The bonus episodes are Sunday, Monday. Episodes are now on Tuesday. So have a lovely week. And please, we really like reading the Apple reviews. So I know it sounds like a real, like, I don't know what it sounds like, but
write them.
Yeah, right. Please review us. I love getting all the DMs. We have gotten so many great DMs, and I'm trying to keep up on responding to all of them. But like we do love seeing the Apple reviews, and it really helps the show. So if you like the show, it's the best way that you can help the show kind of continue and grow is by leaving an Apple rating and leaving us a written review. I know it sounds silly, and
I don't think it sounds silly, especially for people that listen to podcasts. I mean, most podcasts say that. Like, that's one of the things. More than just listening or subscribing, it's actively engaging.
Yeah, actively engaging. I mean, Patreon for sure. I think we have 5 patrons right now on our Patreon. I've been trying to add more content there. But I would never expect anyone to spend money to listen to the show. So if there's just something you can do to help support the show that is completely free, I'd say it is leaving us a review on Apple. It helps a lot. So
do it.
Please do it. Yes. Thank you. And have a wonderful week, and we will be seeing you on Tuesday with our new episode.
That's right.
Anything else? You look so relaxed right now. I can't even handle it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm leaving this spot all night.
We're at Mark's, and
Mark
Jenna
will love that.
Jenna's laying on the couch, and she looks
it's like this
so
teeny couch
relaxed.
too.
Yeah, it's like a little love seat. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask.
Oh.
This is going to be this is a shot in the dark, but if there's anyone who listens, I'm sure you've heard me talk about my bulldog, Izzy. She's been a little bit under the weather, and we had the vet come to our home the other day, and he thinks that she has something called Cushing's disease. And I don't know. I feel like it's very helpful sometimes to get information from people who have experience with things. So if there's anyone out there who has a dog or knows a dog who maybe has had Cushing's disease, I would be really grateful to hear from you and hear your experience and how you dealt with it and the medicine they took and just any information you have, because I'm kind of flying blind here and just trying to figure it out as we go. She's very old, and I want to make sure to do the right thing for her comfort and health. So I don't know if there's anyone out there who's heard of the disease and knows anything about it. Please get in touch, and that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate that.
Anyone, and I imagine especially any veterinarians out there.
Yeah, veterinarians or people who have a dog who has that, who has dealt with it. And with that, this is a very long goodbye. So we will sign off and say happy weekend, happy week, and we'll see you guys Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.